Combat can be hard and no rest for the wicked. Not if you become a parry master though and absolutely bully your opponents. In order to teach you the art of parrying, we'll go frame by frame through this fight, analyzing the perfect moment to parry, but also how much pity timer do you have to hit the parry button. Heads up, it's way more forgiving than you think it is. And for this, I have the first zone boss, Warwick the Torn, for you. And if you parry his attacks, well, he gets thrown into a very vulnerable state. 1, 2, and then you can wait for his next attack to do it again. But now hitting that parry is quite the tricky one, right? You gotta be right in the moment. So how about we go frame by frame through this now to actually fight the right parry moments, because you might actually miss these. First, let's find out how big is the pity timer and when to actually start the parry. The first hit, we get hit, but the second one, we do actually parry. It is hard to see because he's kind of like doing the overswinging, and there is the wind canal of his hit, which is blocking vision. But that's what we have frame by frame for. Now we can essentially zoom back, and you see him swinging forward, 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 and this is where we start the parry. He's still vastly back, and it's another 1, 2, 3, 4 frames before the actual hit starts. Because until then, he hasn't actually hit yet, right? This is still the windup, but we're starting the parry very early back here. And one thing to really look out for is the white haze around his blade. This, when the actual swing begins. Because on the next parry, you will see how late we can start. Okay, keep in mind, this is how early we started. Literally on this frame. Boom. And now we're going for the next parry. That one is from a very stupid perspective. We screw this one up. We roll away. And he's coming now from the side. We can't see his hit perfect. Yet, we do parry it. And the Torn is putting a funny face on. Now, when do we start here? Because last time, the parry begun this. This is where we started to parry. But now look forward. 1, 2, that's the white haze. 3 frames, and that's where I'm actually starting to parry. This is how late, and yet it is still a block. Which indicates for me, as soon as you see the lines appearing, not even as soon as the hit starts, right? Because technically the hit starts kind of here, where he starts accelerating. As soon as you see the white, that's the latest you have to essentially parry. White begins, parry begins. Correct? My stance changed. But back here, we could have already started. Now let's see if we can make this clear with the next one. Because the next one is another Sideswipe. Boom. Way better perspective to explain this. Now we're going back. Again, just like the first one. Boom. I'm starting back here when he's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 frames away from the white haze around his blade. This is how much or how forgiving the parry can feel. Boom. Now let's see if we can find an overhead, because all these side swipes, overhead, which is way harder. Why? The side swipe is kind of like a winded attack. The overhead is here and then a sudden move downwards. But he does actually telegraph you when he does it. Let's go back and see if you notice the moment. He goes up and then parry. Now we'll go to the parry in a second, but first the telegraph. And that's actually simple. He has the weapon up and then he kind of extends his elbows because he pulls his body down. Boom. This moment here, right? You notice how he kind of like extends his elbows. That's where he actually starts the hit. But when do we start parrying? Because wind up, wind up, wind up, wind up, wind up, wind up, wind up. Still, he already extends the elbows and goes down. Here we could start the parry. And yet we start the parry as his whole body's almost about to connect with us, right? With the overhead hit, it's a bit stupid because you can't actually see the white haze. But this is how late we start, and yet it is still a parry. Now the next one is perfect because he does one hit and we screwed this up. Why did we screw this up? Let's go back because it's important to learn why you screwed up. Not only why does it work. He goes back, 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 back. And now I'm already starting the parry, right? We're starting here. But that's bad because why? Let's see how many frames until the white haze. So I start here, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 frames before. So let's count actually. It was 1, 2, 3, 4. This is where we start parrying because then we have another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 before the haze happens. So kind of like here was supposed to be our parry and we started way earlier. It's actually forgiving because we started way earlier, but essentially from here to 1, 2, 3, 4, this is where we could have started still and it would have been a parry. And he goes for the backhand hit now. He goes for the backhand hit now. Which is a different one, right? Especially since it's a follow-up. It's really hard to kind of like parry these follow-ups because you lost your confidence with the first hit mixed. Again, boom. It's a slow one though, so this one is easy to see. Okay, we're going forward, 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 right? He has not hit yet. It's still the wind-up. And forward. We still haven't started parrying yet. And look at the weapon. The white haze actually started very early. No haze, no haze, no haze, no haze. There's the haze now starting. Still no parry. Haze, haze. And now the parry begins. Okay? So like here, this moment, boom. This is where we start. And then he actually goes for the full swing. But we did this the latest almost possible. I think I could have even done it 2 frames later and we would have gotten it off. Now a final interesting part. He does this forward stab. That hits me. But what did I screw up there? When did I start? Where was my mistake? He's here in the wind-up position still. And this is where I'm starting. Way too early. Like, what is this? What am I doing there? I mean, it's hard to see any kind of white haze, but do you notice how he's going further down? He goes 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is where I should have started because boom, that's where he goes explosive. So lowering his stance, squeezing together, and then shooting his blade out. Quite easy to spot. Now, can we put this to a real world test? Did all of this knowledge now help me to get better at parrying? Sideswipe. Followed up by poke. Followed up by sideswipe. Oh, you're getting bullied now, Warwick. That really helped me to even become the better gamer now. I mean, obviously you learn it now on one mob, but all of this is real actual knowledge that works on every mob, on every boss, right? I mean, obviously every boss has different timings, but the thing about looking for the white haze, the thing about learning when the explosive motion starts. Beautiful. Oh, sorry. At least we get the offense swing. I hope this helped you with a frame by frame. Definitely recommend you recording your own games and then watching it back to kind of notice where are you actually going a bit hesitant. Where's your problem? I screwed that one up. Okay, let's do one last one for the bully. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope this will transform you into a parry master in no time. And if you want to see my day one 100% exploration of everything Act 1 has to offer, well, here's the video for you. Enjoy.